Guys, the Iowa GOP thinks you're stupid. They think I'm stupid, they think he's stupid, and they do not think that we are going to go and do our research. So let's discuss this. Iowa GOP just goes on Facebook and they post, Rob Sand promised he would ring up public schools every single year for misspending taxpayer money. But when Iowa City schools moved $38 million without board approval, violating state law, they care about the law right here. They're not going to in a second, but they care right now. It wasn't Sand who found it. Private auditors did. Now that he's running for governor, the so-called taxpayer watchdog seems to be treating the job like a side hustle. Enter Sandman. Rob comes into the comment section and he says, you know we do ring up public schools every year. You also know that we cannot audit counties, cities, and school districts unless they hire us for their regular annual audit or we have a qualifying legal request. And you know neither happened in this situation. I feel bad for you guys having to lie all the time. The 9th commandment doesn't have an exception for political operatives. So let's go look up the law. This is Iowa Code 11.6, and we are going to go to subsection 4, right here, 4A. This is regarding auditor of the state. This is what Rob is talking about, and here are the reasons right here. The auditor of state has probable cause to believe such action is necessary in the public interest because of a material deficiency in an audit of the governmental subdivision filed with the auditor of state, or because substantial failure of the audit to comply with the standards and procedures established and published by the auditor of state. What happens is a public school district hires their own auditor. They can hire the state auditor's office. It's more expensive, but they can hire the state auditor's office, and sometimes they have to because we do not have many auditors, certified public accountants and auditors that are able to audit public school districts and that are willing to audit public school districts. And these audits are backed up. So sometimes they do have to hire the state auditor's office. They don't have a second option. The other way that the state auditor's office can come in and audit is if the auditor receives from an elected official or employee of a governmental subdivision a written request. So it has to be an employee, it has to be a board member, something like that. Or they receive a petition signed by at least 100 eligible electors of the governmental subdivision requesting a complete or partial re-audit. None of that happened in the case of Iowa City. What did happen was Iowa City was audited by their regular third-party auditor that they hire themselves, and then that auditor caught the illegal internal transfer. Done. The system worked the way it was supposed to. It had nothing to do with Rob Sand. Now, could the GOP have used this case of Iowa City and said, this is something we think should change. We think that the state auditor's office should be involved at these different levels, and we are going to be looking into those laws and making those changes using Zach Lane, our candidate from Iowa. Yeah, they could have done that, but they didn't. Instead, they tried to lie. They tried to lie about Rob Sand. And we don't take that in this house being Iowa.